So that's cylinder head back on. So first thing I did was roughly get the timing in position, and then checked all the shims with everything torqued down and made a couple of adjustments. So now basically all my shims are giving some pretty good clearances. So inlet 6, 5, 6 and 8 all within tolerance. 8 is sort of upper limit, but they do tend to close when after you've first installed valves, done a fresh build. They tend to, in the first few hundred miles, they tend to close up a little bit, so we'll keep an eye on those. Then the exhaust 5, 6, 5 and 5 now. Most of them with different shims to what Buzzard said, no surprise there. Inlet rubbers on. New Liska sprocket, that top idle sprocket there is one of the new Liska ones, so I'm just going around now talking things up. Rubbers fitted, so I didn't change the rubbers at all, because I managed to get them to compress up and tighten up quite well to give a reasonable looking seal anyway. These are going to be a real struggle to get the carbs on. That's going to be great fun, so not worried about that quite at the moment. Today's mission is to button this engine up, basically get the cam cover on, get all the gaskets fitted, get the engine sealed, basically, is today's job. So what I've just done is I've just dialed in the cam timing. So obviously inlet and exhaust cam, so it's both separately timed on adjustable slotted sprockets. You can see there, ignore my various paint marks and stuff, that's all for reference, getting the timing sorted out. So basically you have a degree wheel which is set to top dead center on this little pointer, and that pointer can move around wherever you want. And this is a paper disc, so if I peel that back you can see that the engine's basically on top dead center through that. But I do it also on with a screwdriver down the plug hole to feel, to confirm that everything's in the right position. And then basically the method I use is I measured 1 millimeter of lift either side on the cam, so 1 millimeter opening, 1 millimeter closing, and then that will give you the center between there. So as I rotate the engine, you can see that the dial gauge goes roundy. So I'll just give you a quick illustration. If I come back up on this cam, and I'm waiting for basically the small needle to come back up to around about 13. So we're now opening, and yeah, basically you get the idea. As soon as you basically, I'm not going to faff around with doing it one-handed, it's too much of a ball's ache, but basically you wait till you get 1 mil lift on there, take your reading off there, turn the camera around until you get to the other side of the lobe, and then you get back to 1 mil lift, take a reading off there, and then you do the maths, and then you make your adjustments on your sprocket. And the way I do it is I have one loose and one tight on those fasteners, and if I want to make an adjustment, I just slightly undo the one that's tight, and then I rotate the disc in the direction that I want to, the crank in the direction I want to, by the number of degrees I want to change the timing, and read it off here, and then measure it again. But it's very iterative, it takes you many goes. So my exhaust, 1 millimeter lift, done it several times, and come out to a 109.5 degrees after bottom dead center. So I'm heading for 109 because it's a nice safe timing figure. So that's your exhaust valve fully opened, 109.5 degrees after bottom dead center. So that's a good figure. And then similarly on the inlet, a few goes, and I've got to 109 exactly after top dead center on the inlet cam. And that's what I had for on these cams. That's what these cams were designed for. These were the A1 Unitrack cams, and they were originally designed for the Kawasaki factory Zed Head endurance team. So they're an endurance designed cam, and don't know if you can see, but they only just fit. They only just clear the bore of the buckets. This is the highest lift cam you can put in a Zed Head engine without machining parts of the bucket bores away to clear the cam. So this is a very popular cam amongst Zed Head owners. It's exactly the same profile as a Andrews Stage 2 cam as well. Exactly the same camshaft. Only difference is the Andrews ones are hollow camshafts, so they're a bit lighter. But they're very hard to get hold of, no longer made, and expensive. So that's the engine timing. So yeah, basically it's time to button up this engine. Shims done, valve timing done. I've got a few more things to do, like Loctite, some fasteners. I've done the cam sprocket Allen screws. They're Loctited in. They don't actually need a massive amount of torque, to be honest. I've never had any move just from doing them up, you know, just by hand without a torque wrench, because you can't really get a torque wrench in there. And yeah, so another hour or so, the engine at least should all be buttoned up.